And we're live on this Thursday evening. Scott Stevens here with a look at a little bit of weather across the states. The two big stories have to be the heat that is inbound for California and the Mountain West, as there will be some September all-time records challenged. There's some discussion that may end up being all-time records, and that would be exceptional. But it is often this time of year where California does set those all-time records, as we can get a little, even with the lower sun angle in the sky, the soil is about as dry as it gets at any time of the year come September, before any seasonal rains begin. But then we can add a little bit of downward momentum, a little bit of a Santa Ana effect. And that's how California can get into the 90s and 100s, even in November, when we add a little bit of downward compression from those eastbound Santa Ana winds, as a cold high pressure would then set up over the central Rockies and the Great Basin area, and that allows for that to happen. All right, come over here, and we'll start with Twitter, and that's kind of where the news is today. Daniel Swain, and he projected temperatures Sunday afternoon, currently depicted by operational weather models, are certainly just eyebrow-raising. While wildfire smoke covers a bit of the wild card, these could be approaching all-time highs for some places. And we can see all through the Central Valley, we've got numbers. There you go. You can see those over there, between 110 and upwards, 113, 114 at Redding. It's incredible heat. Into the Bay Area, where we have some of the cooling effects greatly cooling effects of the ocean. Then those temperatures are usually sub 90, but nonetheless, 85 in San Francisco is a very, very warm day. And you don't have to get but maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 miles inland, and then you're in the heat. The gradient from the 50s, just offshore, where that water is very cool, compared to the triple digits, and then much more clement or much more tolerable as we move into these Sierras. Same for the Southland. 110 plus will be very, very common. May even see a couple of 119s, 120s. Those would be scarce, but nonetheless, it is within the realm of possibilities. You get out towards Victorville and so forth. Certainly down to Palm Springs, we're going to be well over 115 for Saturday, Sunday, probably into Monday and Tuesday as well. The contrast for that, of course, is Monday morning through Tuesday morning. Yeah, look at those temperatures. Or actually, it isn't even temperatures, but you have to have cold temperatures to realize this kind of accumulating snow, where we're looking at a couple of inches for certain. And we'll look at the totals. And then as we get into the next morning through Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning, that slides down the front range to the Colorado Rockies. And then there are even some models which take it into Western Nebraska. The midnight run from last night was fairly aggressive, and bringing into Scotts Bluff upwards of 6 to 10 inches worth of snow, and that would be humbling for those farmers this time of year. All right, Midwesterners validating weather. 20 below. Oh, it wouldn't be that cold without the wind. 99 degrees. Well, I'm only sweating because of the humidity. 20 degrees. Well, honestly, if you stand in the sun, it's not that bad. 47 degrees. Well, driving with the windows down because, well, finally, it's nice outside. I have lived all of these scenarios, every single last one of them. And in the Midwest, you probably have too. In fact, a large part of the country, we've seen that scenario, except for maybe not the minus 20. All right, the ECMWF, the European model, getting a little bit active and trying to generating legitimately by not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, Sunday the 13th, quite a bit of activity out in the tropical Atlantic. None of them look to be infringing or impacting, say, Puerto Rico or Dominican, Haiti, and Cuba. They would be north of that, and that would be the good news for that particular scenario. All right, here we are with the fire situation. We are getting a few of those larger fires under control. New fires 16, fires contained 9, so we're up to 85. We're just at about 2.1 million acres burned so far this year, and still a large number of soldiers, if you will. Firefighters and so forth. They're soldiers on their own right. New fires in Montana, where 13 of the 85 large fires are now burning. So Montana has taken a hit. They're a little bit late to get in the game. Not that you want to get in this game at all, but that is where it's happening. And it's because of the heat. 100 degrees. That looks like Billings to me. Billings. And let's start with Friday, where the heat is tomorrow inside of California as that high really begins to get its gusto together. There's another triple-digit heat for Saturday up in Billings, Sheridan at 98, 94 at Casper, and then just hot through the entirety of the inner Mountain West. It's just bloody hot. Same story for Sunday, and then into Monday we still have 28 locations at or above record highs, and then it really begins to temper off as that high is then shoved out to coast, out to sea, mostly come Tuesday and on into Wednesday, but with low highs because of the chilly weather. Low minimums, actually 29 in Sheridan and Great Falls at an even freezing 32 degrees come next Tuesday morning and then into Wednesday. Some very chilly readings. Casper 28, McCook, Nebraska 39, Sheridan at 29. So there's some very cool weather. That's probably oh, that's McCook. Okay, I wouldn't have anticipated that, but that's kind of where we are. So some potential very chilly readings in place as we get to the middle of next week with highs cooler than normal. And we'll see what that means when it comes to functioning agriculture and the crops that are in the field. And it's still just the first and moving into the second week of September, so it's awfully early to have a flush of cold weather like that. All right, record our temperatures yesterday nationwide, 116 Death Valley, 25 northwest of Grand Lake, Colorado. The Atlantic is active, as we saw with ECMWF, with that big ridge, that big Bermuda high sitting out there, kind of directing the flow in this action. Nana still depression, but identifiable for the moment. We'll see if it reemerges into the Pacific and then can hold on to some kind of identity. A lot of smoke through California, and then this is why this haze is here, are those fires up in Montana. We've got some clouds obscuring that direction, and maybe we can get a little bit closer in here, but big thunderstorms in Texas from Dallas and Denton on south to San Antonio. Now it's Kerrville, Austin, and then Point southbound today, and really bringing them some very generous showers and thunderstorms. I guess this is taking just a moment to load. And then I was looking for the fires. Oh, there's one right there, just east of Billings. And as we look through the northwest, it's not that difficult to see these fires because they're very different than cloud plumes. And there's the thunderstorms in Texas. So it's been dry. West Texas is painfully dry. And they've had a few thunderstorms, and they'll get a little bit more as we keep on through the weekend. These were morning temperatures. I think I reset this at about 6 o'clock Mountain Time, and you can see the 30s running the spine of the Rockies on the Front Range of Colorado. 50s, mostly 50s, and some 60s. Some warm nights through the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys all the way to the Gulf Coast. Let's refresh this and see where we have the hundreds as we move into the afternoon hours. There's the heat along the Rio Grande, through southern New Mexico and into Arizona and through California. But the heat is going to get big. The nice, screaming, it's fall weather is the upper Mississippi Valley, where we've got those north breezes and even 50s as you get into western Ontario in the wake of this very cool front that is working its way southbound. Here's the front here, right through there. And so you can see it flushes away the heat and humidity with dew points in Kansas. 30s, Goodland, haze at 39, and then the north winds pressing that heat and humidity farther off to the south. So that is always a fresh breeze from Canada. Those are welcome this time of year. All right, where's the other showers? Here's the flooding that's going on down in Texas. We probably don't have to zoom in on that one then. So San Antonio getting the rain, and then just east of Del Rio, although Del Rio could use a good old soaking, and even through the Rio Grande into Mexico. Those thunderstorms are going. If you're going to get some rain, it's got to happen this time of year. It just has to happen. Because once the monsoon shuts down, once the easterly trade winds begin to relax, it just doesn't, the potential isn't there to see the rains. So the story is going to be the heat out west, and we can start this all the way back to the beginning, essentially where we are today. And in the blues are where we have temperatures cooler than normal, and the reds and oranges are above normal. And as I scroll through this, the heat really extends across the northern Rockies, out into the plains with Nebraska just crazy hot on Saturday afternoon, probably 20 to almost, every bit of 20 degrees above normal across Nebraska. This begins to accelerate plants to maturity, especially with as dry as they've been. And then the cold air just forms in Canada as this trough kinks, and the cold air plunges southbound through Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way and deep into Texas. The greater than 20 degrees below normal. Just really, really expands and then progresses off to the east. And then another little slug stays mostly in the northern tier states, but then the heat recovers. It really does rebound nicely. So this is kind of just a quick little pulse of cold air. But I want to show you more so this. And this is the snow as it develops in Wyoming, Montana, Wyoming, along the Continental Divide, and then just works its way southbound through Monday, Tuesday, and then kind of falls apart once it leaves Colorado, and the rest of the storm progresses off to the east. And then after that, there's 2 weeks of above normal temperature, so no big deal. The question, though, is how much falls. How much snow falls, and then we'll kind of wrap it up right there. Let's take our precip, it's our total snowfall, and we'll run this to the end of the snow event. And we've got some of the mountains west of Fort Collins, Boulder, that are looking at 10, 12, 14, 15 inches, and even into western Nebraska, enough to lay down the crops, enough to begin to break branches off of these trees that are still in full leaf. And that's going to be one of the challenges we have with this particular storm, as it isn't even really 100 hours away. We're less than 5 days away from this guy. So that kind of wraps that up. My goodness, I got a little sun coming in over there. My view to the west is the sun gradually works its way off to the south. I wonder what it'll do for allergies, and it should be nice to be rid of those. All right, so aptly named, it does, Robin, it does. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow as we further dissect this looming winter event. And I'll catch you in the morning with Vicky on the Coffee Break Show at 11 o'clock Mountain. Until then, hey,